Hello investors. Welcome you to US Market Stock Update. Today, the stock market has been in a slump for 3 days in a row, with the fear of inflation still lingering. Stocks are volatile today. Investors paid extra close attention to signs of inflation on the horizon, including higher commodity prices. The S&P 500, Dow and Nasdaq are all down for the third day in a row. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude oil is hovering at a 7-year high with constraints on output and higher demand pushing prices up recently. Due to lack of refining capacity in the U.S. otherwise outside of oil, prices for aluminum and copper also dropped after weekend highs. For investors, the recent boom in commodity prices is a potential source of pressure on corporate margins. They have already been grappling with a wide variety of supply-side challenges, including port congestion and labor scarcities, that are expected to drag on profit growth heading into third-quarter earnings season later this week and over the next month. According to the Department of Labor, job openings were at a near all-time high in August, corroborated by continued turnover rates. Interest rates, which have been steadily rising since the election, are being driven by a number of factors. The 10-year yield mentioned has also resumed its ascent and reached a 14-month high in late September. Stock futures declined today after investors awaited bank earnings and the latest inflation figures. Investors are waiting on new earnings and inflation announcements to help show the extent to which rising prices have weighed on the economic recovery and corporate profits. The announcement of these numbers will give investors a sense of how they can adjust their strategy in light of this information. Earnings season will kick off tomorrow. Some notable companies expected to report before the opening bell are J.P. Morgan Chase, BlackRock and Delta Airlines. There have been a number of signs that suggest S&P 500 earnings growth for the third quarter could be weaker than originally anticipated. Supply-side headwinds have hit margins and profitability, for example. In addition, input prices are increasing and labor costs are going up as well. These companies are already feeling the impacts of supply chain shortages and shipping challenges. Shipping companies like Costco and Walmart are already increasing demand for ships as we approach the holiday season to ensure there is enough space to absorb all the deliveries. The latest batch of economic data due out on Wednesday morning is likely to confirm that these supply and demand mismatches have been leading to inflationary pressure at the start of fall. In the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index due out Wednesday morning, we'll see this, excluding food and energy. Prices have risen by 4.0% from last year. Notably, this is a slight decrease from the previous high of 4.5% from June. Wall Street analysts are predicting 27% growth on a year-over-year basis for the third quarter, which would still be the fastest growth rate since 2010. However, it will likely be slower than in recent quarters. Bank of America's Savita Subramanian, head of U.S. Equity and Quantitative Strategy, says in a new note that this will be make or break quarter with everyone looking at margins and supply chains. Apple suppliers are feeling the sting of the production cut. It has been reported that Apple may cut, by as much as 10 million units, their production of iPhone this year due to ongoing chip shortages. Chip suppliers are in sympathy with the downtrend in the postmarket following reports that they will be cutting production for the newest iPhone due to forthcoming component shortages. Apple, the ticker symbol, AAPL, is trading lower after hours to $139.51, with isolated trading as low as $130.30 in the after-hours session, and its phone suppliers are also dropping in price. For example, Cirrus Logic Inc. is down 1.6%, Skyworks Solutions Inc. is down 2.1%, Qorvo Inc. is just 1.3%. Broadcom Limited has dropped by 1.4%. Meanwhile, Qualcomm is moving higher on its own news, up 1.3%. In a late Tuesday filing with the SEC, the company announced it's joining the buyback party and authorizing an additional $10 billion in stock repurchases.